Okay, so thanks everyone for joining in this session and welcome everyone again again with us on MEC 2022. Uh, we so we are excited to present Exchange Server and Hybrid Roadmap session with you. I am joined by uh, one of my other colleagues, Srividya Varanasi, also with me. So Srividya, you wanna say hi?
Hi everyone, for this session.
Awesome. So so together we will be presenting this exciting roadmap ahead of us for Exchange Server and Hybrid World. We will do a deep dive of few just released and upcoming features. Then we'll open the floor for Q&A. You also see a survey link on your screen. This is to provide suggestions and feedbacks on features presented or features that we didn't even talk about. So please use this survey to communicate and help us build an exciting exchange roadmap, right? So let me dive in. So first of all, what is the basis of our future exchange investments? So customers have time and again expressed either directly to us or through various forums about the major challenges they face as an exchange customer or as an exchange admin. They need exchange to be fully secure. Applying exchange updates should be easier than ever. And then managing hybrid should be simpler, making it easier for them to migrate to cloud. So this is the reason why our investments uh, are focused on these three themes, which is stay secure, stay current, and hybrid. Through this session, we'll share our plan in each of these areas of investment, and we'll urge you to again share your feedback, suggestions on each of us through the survey link, or you can also reach out to us via emails. So let me first dive into stay secure, which is our features in the security area. Here we will be talking about features like extended protection, modern auth, HMA for Outlook web app. But before that, let me give a quick report out of our continued focus on security throughout last year. So last year we shipped, or I should say last 12 months, we shipped 7 security updates. This fixed 19 reported vulnerabilities for Exchange servers. Internally, we also discovered and fixed 70 plus additional security fixes for Exchange server. So yes, we have been up to the task of making your Exchange server secure. Now, in last year September, we also released Exchange Emergency Mitigation Service, which provides us the capability to share mitigations with you faster than ever, right? So EMS was shipped for Exchange 2016 and 2019 versions, and this gives us capability to safeguard you all against any of the critical attacks like hafnium in future. So we are ready to provide you with mitigations uh, in the shortest amount of time without even requiring you to install security updates in some cases. So this has been our security focus for the last 12 months and probably even before that. Now coming on to our first feature, which is extended protection in Exchange Server. So last month through August security update, we shipped capability in Exchange Server to enable extended protection uh, through, I mean, manually or through a script. Now, this feature is available for Exchange 2013, 2016, and 2019. Extended protection leverages channel binding tokens to thwart any man-in-the-middle attacks like NTLM relay. Now, these man-in-the-middle attacks can occur in any client-to-server call or a server-to-server call. Hence, our recommendation is to enable extended protection in both front-end and back-end Exchange virtual directories. There is guidance available on how to do this on our GitHub page where we have also uploaded this script to enable extended protection. The script provides advanced features like rollback of extended protection settings or the auto update of the script. So we would strongly recommend you to use this script to enable extended protection rather than doing it manually for each virtual directory. To make it easier, uh, and show you how uh, this can be enabled, we have also prepared a short demo for showing how to enable extended protection. So let me go to that. Before you begin, you may want to verify the current extended protection settings in your organization. To do this, you can execute the script along with show extended protection parameter. This will list all the Exchange virtual directories in your organization along with their current and recommended extended protection settings. To enable extended protection in one go for all the Exchange servers and their virtual directories, you can just execute the script in Exchange Management Shell of any server. The script will do a prerequisite check before enabling EP across all virtual directories. If you're using retention policies for automated archiving, enabling extended protection on your EWS backend virtual directory is not recommended. We are actively looking into this issue, and fix for this will be provided soon via a security update. In the interim, to safeguard backend EWS virtual directory and ensure archiving is not broken, we have provided a way to mitigate this by restricting incoming connections to backend EWS virtual directory. You would need to prepare a list of all the IPs or IP ranges for your entire Exchange servers in a TXT file and then execute the script with restrict type parameter. This will set the EP to recommended setting on all the virtual directories other than EWS backend, where it will create allow list of incoming connections from other Exchange servers for your organization. You may also want an easy way to roll back all the changes made by the script with regard to extended protection settings. You can easily do this by using a rollback parameter. And some of the features of this script may not be fully available yet. For example, the restrict type parameter is not released yet, but it will be available very shortly. So yeah, stay tuned and please follow the GitHub doc URL for latest updates on extended protection. Yeah. So moving on to modern auth support in Outlook clients. So we announced earlier this year that we will be supporting modern auth for pure on-premises organization, but this should not be confused with hybrid modern auth authentication, where if you are an Exchange hybrid organization, you can use Azure AD for modern auth to connect with Outlook clients as well as other mobile clients as well. This is a feature specially catered for those customers who do not want to use who do not want to use Azure AD for as the token service for modern auth. So through this feature, you will be able to use ADFS, an on-prem ADFS as secure token service for modern auth. So basically, this decouples the requirement of Azure AD for modern auth. So in when we release this feature, we will not support direct integration of third-party IDP with Exchange as secure token service, although third-party IDP over ADFS may still be used. To make it easier for you to roll this feature out for your end users, we are also providing new authentication policies for Exchange Server. So using these policies, you can actually control this modern auth feature at a user level. So this does not have to be an org level switch on and off. You can easily pick a set of end users and test this feature with them before rolling out this feature for your entire organization. Another thing, much of the changes required for this feature will be in the Outlook clients, and all the clients have separate timelines. So to support this feature, every client will release this next year, but probably in a different timeline, not together. And we will start by enabling this feature in Outlook Windows client, and then we'll follow it up with Outlook Mac and other Outlook clients as well. In the survey, you can actually communicate what are the most important clients to you when it comes to Modern Auth for a pure on-premises setup. So yeah, so use the survey to do share your feedback and suggestions on this feature as well. Uh, Moving on. So from modern auth to hybrid modern authentication. As I said, hybrid modern authentication is when you use Azure AD for as your token service. So when we released the hybrid modern authentication feature in 2017, we never added support for modern auth in Outlook web app. So basically, this provides challenges to your end user whose mailbox is still on premise because they cannot use OVA or I mean, if you have enabled OVA, it will be with a different login experience uh, than for the other Outlook client, right? So through this feature, we cater to unify this experience where you will be able to use Outlook web app for your on-premises mailbox by using Azure AD as your token provider. So So this was a quick snapshot of all the security features that we had for you. Now let me invite Srividya to share few more updates on Stay Current.
Thanks, Mukesh. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you're excited after hearing the investments that we are making in the Stay Secure area. So basically, this will improve and enhance security of your Exchange server deployments. However, if there are areas that you would want us to cover, not just in the security space, but in general in Exchange server, please use this form to provide feedback. The link and QR code are pasted here. In the next few minutes, I will be talking about the investments that we are making in the Stay Current space, which is essentially to help you stay on the updated cumulative updates and security updates. Why is this important? Assume or think of a scenario where there is a vulnerability in the Exchange server that has been discovered and reported. What we do is immediately fix this vulnerability and ship out the fix as part of a security update. However, the security update will only reach you if you are on supported cumulative versions, which is either the latest or the latest -1 cumulative updates. So from a security standpoint, it's very important that you are on supported cumulative versions and are on patched onto the latest security update to safeguard your Exchange server across for any attacks. To make you stay current, I think we have these two features. And the other benefit of staying current is whatever investments that we are going to make in terms of new features, new improvements, and one of the slides that Mukesh shared earlier, where we spoke about a lot of fixes that have happened in the backend, all of this will be made available to you as part of cumulative updates. So for you to even derive more value from Exchange server, I think we would recommend you to stay updated on the cumulative updates. So here are the two features that I want to talk about in this space. The first one is basically a dashboard and action center for software updates. So what essentially is the pain? We spoke to a lot of you or some of you basically to understand what are the challenges with respect to updating their Exchange servers. And one of the key challenges or hurdles that we heard is basically there's no in-product experience for any announcement whenever there is a new cumulative update released or security update released. So essentially what admins do, they rely on external blogs, KB articles that we publish, or the Exchange server documentation to receive this information. So it is not, the information is not brought to the notice of the admin, and the admin has to go looking for this information. This is something that we want to address. And secondly, even if this information was available to the admin, there is no view within the Exchange server where they can get details of all the software patching status or update status of all the Exchange servers in their environment. So imagine even if you have 10 Exchange servers or 1,000 Exchange servers, it's a challenge for you to look at the update status of your Exchange servers. So we are trying to address this, basically the information gap that we have with this feature. So we're going to create dashboards where admins, Exchange server admins would be able to see the status of cumulative update releases, etc. So the first dashboard that we are going to create is going to be in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, or the Mac portal as we call it. So you can see that this is the Mac portal. There is a section for software updates under which you will be able to see information for Exchange server. So what's the information that's going to be displayed? Your server status with respect to cumulative updates, with respect to security updates, and also the support life cycle as well. How are we getting this information? So even if most of you are on-prem, as long as you have a tenant ID on the cloud, and your Exchange gets linked to the tenant ID Exchange server, and we are able to fetch this information based on the tenant ID. So as long as you have this tenant ID, we will fetch this information, and you will see that, for example, there are about 50 Exchange servers in your environment, out of which 20 of them are on non-supported CU version. So we provide that information. And not just this, we can also go deeper into understanding which servers need to be patched and which servers are going to go out of support or out of date as soon as another CU is released, etc. Or all this information is made available to the admins. And of course, we would want to bring this into our native client as well, which is the Exchange Admin Center. I know most of you would be logging into Exchange Admin Center to carry out various administrative tasks. So now, as part of the Exchange Admin Center as well, you will have a similar dashboard where you will see all of the status. But in addition, you will also be seeing status on the EEMS as well, because we just spoke about the emergency mitigation surveys. It helps mitigate any vulnerabilities that have been discovered. As soon as we basically release a mitigation, it gets applied onto an Exchange server as long as you have basically enabled it. So it shows how many of your servers are enabled, not enabled for EMS, and even if they have been enabled, if the service is running or not, which is critical information for admins to take action and make sure that the EMS service is running smoothly. And this is just the first step that we are taking in providing this information. Of course, we want to go the whole length, end to end, just starting from providing information to taking action. So we will be improvising the Exchange Admin Center experience as well, where admins will be able to perform the end-to-end task, right from knowing these details and also be able to taking actions using the Security Control Center or this particular feature in Exchange Admin Center. So that's about the dashboard experience. Moving forward, the other issue that we heard from most of the admins is basically, I mean, we have the information, we have applied the cumulative update, but it becomes cumbersome for us because once we have the Exchange server, when we have the Exchange server set up, we have various configuration files, almost more than 60, 70 configuration files that are available to administrators. And in order to control and put limits, etc., admins go ahead and change the configuration on these config files. And whenever there is a new update that is released, the setup basically replaces all the files within the Exchange server folder with the latest update. And because of this, whatever has been done on the config files gets overwritten. And this brings admins to the other task of again going ahead and changing and reconfiguring these config files. We want to avoid this. We want to make it very simple and not do redundant work for the admins. So we are coming with a solution where we're going to retain the customizations that are that the admins have done on the config files even after the CU upgrade. And how is this done is basically we're going to create a backup of all the config files. And when the new update is applied, it replaces all the files. However, we are going to restore all the configuration settings that have been done in the past so that admins don't have to go again and make these changes. So in these two ways, we are trying to improve the update and upgrade experience for you. And please provide any feedback on these features. Reach out to us via email or through the survey that we are rolling out. Over to you, Mukesh.
Thanks, Srividya, for sharing several exciting features, which will help, I think, most of the customers stay current and be informed about the latest releases. Uh, yeah, and as you know, Srividya mentioned, always, I mean, feel free to provide any feedback, either directly reaching out to us or through the survey link that we have shared. We are always glad to hear from our customers. So now let me share some of the hybrid roadmap and updates with you all. Uh, so yeah, sorry. So the two things that I would discuss would be hybrid wizard a la carte and last exchange server updates. So let me dive in. So hybrid wizard a la carte and what if. So why do we even need this? So we have customers often reaching out to us trying to understand what will change if they run hybrid wizard again. Usually they would have done few customizations after the last wizard run. They may or may not remember all of those changes, but due to a necessity like a certificate update or an organization config transfer, they need to run hybrid wizard again. Now, this is definitely a painful experience and nothing less than a nightmare if you do not know all your customizations that you have made after the last run. So hybrid wizard a la carte and what if feature aims to remediate this pain point for customers. This feature will this feature will add two new UI page in the wizard. So the a la carte page is where you can choose all the customizations that hybrid wizard attempts. So you will be able to choose between features like do you want to configure OAuth or you only want to configure migration endpoint and all and whatnot. And once uh, and basically you use this page to pick those features which you need and feel free to skip all those critical configurations which can disrupt your environment. Now, we have also heard from customers that sometimes they are not aware about the exact change in the object level that the hybrid wizard would do. So we are also adding a what ifs page which aims to bring more clarity on the exact change made by the uh, or basically being attempted by the hybrid wizard. So no black box for you. So for example, if you choose to create a migration endpoint, you will see what is the current migration endpoint on Exchange Online and what will it change to. So yeah, you get full visibility, you get full control of what you want from Wizard and no black box for you, right? So uh, essentially we want to make your experience of running Hybrid Wizard as seamless as possible. And this feature would be available later this year through an hybrid wizard update. So this is not through an exchange, but a hybrid wizard update. Okay, so moving on. So last exchange server. So last exchange server problem is one of the most talked about problem for exchange hybrid customers. So in April earlier this year, we shipped an enhanced exchange management tool within Exchange cumulative update that can be used as a PowerShell tool, something like Exchange Management Shell, to manage recipients without the need to keep Exchange servers for this. So you can install this on any domain joined machine, be it a client or a server machine. So for example, it can be an admin's laptop where you install this. You use management tools uh, in lieu of Exchange servers for recipient management, and essentially this frees up all your resources that were required to manage your Exchange servers. So no additional license cost, nothing, no additional infra maintenance cost. You just use it off the shelf and manage your recipients for cloud. So We ship this feature through an Exchange CU, and I will provide a short demo on how you can use this feature to manage recipients. One important thing to note here is that we recommend you to shut down your Exchange servers. And if you want to use those servers for a different purpose, format it and make it free for any other purpose. So we only ask you to not uninstall Exchange on these servers, because doing that makes few changes in your Active Directory, which is something that will conflict with your existing Exchange hybrid configuration. So that's something that we ask you to avoid. You only need to shut this down or reformat these servers, and don't like uninstall the Exchange server. So with that, let me just show the demo. Let's first look at our lab setup. We are trying to replicate an organization in an Exchange hybrid configuration. Hence, it has both on-prem and cloud components. We have on-prem AD, an Exchange server, a M365 tenant giving us access to Azure AD and Exchange Online. On-prem AD attributes are synced to Azure AD via Azure AD Connect, which makes the on-prem AD as source of authority. We have a client machine running Windows 11 OS, which will be used for installation of Exchange Management Tool. Let's first verify if we are ready to remove Exchange servers. We can log in our Exchange server and check if we have any mailbox present in our server. Get mailbox is a command that can be used to easily fetch all the mailboxes. Before we start the process of removing Exchange server, it's important to migrate all mailboxes to cloud, or else we risk losing users' data. As you see, there are few mailboxes in my Exchange server. I can migrate these mailboxes to cloud using new migration batch or a new move request. Then I must verify that my tenant coexistence domain, which is usually like tenantname.mail.onmicrosoft.com, is enabled as a target delivery domain. This can be easily checked by get remote domain command. Next step is installation of Exchange Management Tool on our client machine. To do this, I need Exchange Server 2019 CU setup. As I'm installing EMT, I need to select Management Tools at the Server Role selection page of the setup. Once the setup completes, I am ready to use Exchange Management Tool. This tool can be accessed via PowerShell on the client machine. To use recipient management commandlets on PowerShell, we need to first add a PS snap-in recipient management. This allows us to use recipient management commandlets. To easily manage permissions required to execute commandlets, we are shipping a script with the tool that creates a security group called Recipient Management EMT. This script is located in the scripts folder of the Exchange server. Using a domain admin credential, I need to run the add permission for EMT script. After the script is executed, I can check in AD and easily find the recipient management EMT security group. Now the admins who need to manage recipients on daily basis can be added to this group. Now let's verify if we are able to manage recipients via EMT. Let me create a new remote mailbox called M22. We are able to execute this successfully. I can also cross-verify using get remote mailbox to see all the remote mailboxes that were created. We have demonstrated that using Exchange Management Tool, we can manage recipients. Now this brings us to the most important task, which is decommissioning the Exchange server. We recommend customers to shut down their servers, and if they want to repurpose the server for any other task, they can actually format the servers. But they should not uninstall the Exchange server, as they can cause some unwarranted changes in the Active Directory. Yeah, so this feature is already available, and all of you who have this, Exchange servers lying in your data centers only to manage your cloud mailboxes, feel free to use this feature, test it out, and then plan to remove your Exchange servers. So yeah, so that's a bit about the interim solution. So from interim solution, let's talk about the long-term solution. So Exchange management tool is just a start in the direction of removing dependencies for you to move to cloud. But uh, how are we approaching the long-term problem? So in long term, the solution is meant for customers who will use on-premises AD in future, but will use Exchange Online for managing their mailboxes. They would not like to keep their Exchange server. So the goal is to manage Exchange recipients directly from cloud. We are in the process of designing this long-term solution, and we have uh, 30,000 feet overview of how this feature would look like. And we invite you all to participate with us to ratify this design and share your suggestions. So essentially, it will look something like this, where you will be able to create or delete a user or a group in on-premises AD. uh, you will be able to manage the recipients directly in cloud after you would have done that one-time SOA migration or source of authority migration to cloud, after which all the Exchange attributes, the cloud will become the SOA. So essentially, you can use EAC, the cloud EAC, or the PowerShell for Exchange Online to modify or manage these attributes directly in cloud. So you don't need to make any changes in on-premises AD and wait for that sync to happen. Now, some customers also have dependency on a few of the Exchange attributes for some of the legacy applications. So we would write back some of the critical attributes. I would like to repeat this again. So we'll not be writing all the attributes back to on-premises AD, but few critical attributes would be synced back to on-premises AD as well. And as the Exchange server is decommissioned, you would be able to create contacts now in Exchange Online, but those would not be synced back to on-premises AD. So yeah, and as I conveyed earlier, the design is still uh, you know in discussion, where we are actually showing the design to customers and getting their feedback and suggestion. So I would urge you to either through the survey or through directly reaching out to us, lend your valuable suggestions and help us make this a success for you all. So with that, I am at the end of the presentation of all the features that we wanted to share with you. Uh, Let me quickly summarize all the investment that we shared. So we had in security, we had modern auth, HMA for Outlook web app. uh, for Stay Current, we had security updates dashboard, retaining customization during CU update. And for hybrid, we have hybrid wizard a la carte, last exchange server interim solution. And you also see target dates here for each of this feature. Again, these are tentative, subject to change. The ask from you is to share your valuable feedback suggestions for each of these features, and also the new features that we may want to incorporate in Exchange vNext. Use the survey link to give your suggestions. You can also reach out to us directly. If you would like to participate in the preview of any of these features that we discussed or shared today, feel free to join our tab programs as well. You can reach out to us at our email ID, is mentioned in the document. And then we also have two more sessions where we'll have a roundtable discussion with customers. We'll also have Ask the Expert session where our the dev team will also join uh, to take up your questions. So yeah. So with that, let me open the forum for Q&A. And I see in the chat that there are already a lot of questions answered. But yeah, if anybody of you wants to join and wants to bring up a question, feel free to do that. Me and Srividya are both here. So anyone would like to start? You can also raise your hand on the reaction page to. in the meantime, while people are making up their minds, so Srividya, was there any? I think there were a lot of questions, so we can take up from there as well. Was there any question that was not answered?
I have a question regarding migration from on-prem to Exchange Online.
Mm-hmm.
We have an Exchange hybrid environment with Exchange 2013, with Exchange Online primary, and the hybrid service running on Exchange 2013, and transport service also through Exchange 2013. Also, we have Exchange 2019 coexisting with Exchange 2013. Exchange 2019 is just used for hosting the archive mailboxes. So recently, we just migrated for testing purpose. We migrated one of the archive mailbox to Exchange Online, and we noticed that the delegate user mailbox cannot access to archive mailbox in Exchange Online, but the delegate mailbox user can still access the primary mailbox only. The delegate user has full access to that primary mailbox. So we don't know why we cannot access the delegate mailbox user cannot access the archive mailbox. Is there any workaround?
So, so Tim, your question is quite particular to, to your scenario. So, I will look into this and get back to you. But
Okay.
For now, I think we have a page on the on our docs page where we list all the possible scenarios for cross-premise delegate, send as, and all these permissions, right? So we have a page.
Yeah.
So if you have already looked at it, and if you feel that information is missing for your particular scenario, so I will look at your chat anyways. But shoot an email on this email ID, and we'll get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, we already enabled the ACL email, which is a recommendation for delegate mail access for cross premises, right? So yeah, the only thing is I don't know why the delegate user cannot access the archive mailbox in Exchange Online. The reason why we would like to migrate archive mailbox is archive mailboxes are big and it consumes more time. That's why when we migrate the primary mailbox, it will save time for us. That's why we are considering to migrate archive mailbox first.
Sure.
Thank
No,
you.
so we'll look into this.
Thank
Tim.
you.
Yeah.
I think we have Thorsten next.
Good. Awesome.
I have an automation way to give the customer the possibility to just add users to a group, and then I create a new move request and handle everything and troubleshooting and failure and stuff. So it does not use move batches, but individual new move requests. Is there anything to say I should move away from this, or in the future there would be some things that make that no longer supported or something?
No, so we have no such plan, Thorsten. So
Very good.
Both new move request as well as new migration batch are supported.
Great, thanks.
Mukesh, I think there were a couple of questions on basically managing DLs that were created on-prem through hybrid. And also there's one question from Curtis where he's asking any possible support for a better way to migrate distribution groups or mail-enabled security groups to the cloud.
Yeah, so I think there are quite a few questions on migrations. We'll take this up after this session. But so there are documentations already available for this, but are we seeing some gaps there? Is that the question there? Because I didn't fully understand the question.
Hey, this is Curtis. I can actually fill in a little more on that. So we have something like 10,000 distribution groups that were created on-prem, and some of them are nested. So it's going to be a pretty major process to recreate them in the cloud in that kind of structure, or basically seed it and then move them kind of in a lift and shift. So also, we have some mail-enabled security groups that are being used for like permissioning on shared mailboxes and such like that. So it becomes a bit of a pretty daunting task to get all that off on-prem. We're just wondering if there's any possibility of a tool to help us get those up in the cloud, or is that not really a something in the works?
Yeah, I mean, definitely nothing in pipeline for that, but I mean, I will note that down as a request from you, Curtis. But yeah, I mean, essentially nothing is there in pipeline for that. I understand. I think the problem for you is a lot of nested loops and inside the distribution group, and you want a tool and automated way to do this migration faster.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think there were also a couple of questions on which versions we would be supporting the new feature on. So any new investments would be on Exchange Server 2019 itself, and they would be released as part of the cumulative updates we released for Exchange Server 2019. So for getting any of these features, do upgrade to the 2019 version.
Yeah, absolutely. So there will be that question on your coexistence environment, and we will, whenever we'll release this feature, we will give you the details on what you should do to ensure your mailboxes, which are there on the older versions, but you also have 2019 with you, so how those will interact. But any new feature that we have shown will come through in 2019 cumulative update only.
Martin, you want to go?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to give some additional context on the distribution as well.
Martin, we are not able to hear you well.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's good.
Ah, perfect. I wanted to give some additional context on the distribution list topic here. As we migrate people to Exchange Online via a classic hybrid setup, people are losing the functionality to manage DLs where they are manager of, where they have been manager of on the on-premises world before. Today we have to use a third-party tool to mitigate this. Is there any plan to implement a write-back functionality, or where you mentioned already system of ownership will move to Azure AD here for some objects? Will that be resolved by this exercise?
Yeah, so the exercise for the last Exchange Server long-term problem will have those things, but still in design. So there is like a roadmap that we have, but it's not going to be like in the immediate future. But yes, there are all the points that I shared for last Exchange Server long-term solution. So all those are in discussion, and this will be a multi semester work. So I mean, we'll communicate the timelines for it as and when we have solid plans on it. But for now, this is like more in the design phase, where if you want to ensure like this, or present a case for a particular attribute to be to have SOA in cloud, or any such feature, any such feedback, right? So feel free to share that. But for now, yeah, I mean, this is something in pipeline, but not for immediate future.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I think there was a question on new move request planned changes. So I think there may be, I think, a blog link was shared, but there may be changes from Exchange Online that side. But essentially, if it will have any effect on Exchange Server, we will be taking a look at it and ensure that that works. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Martin. Sorry, I think you raised your hand.
No, thank you. My question was answered already.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So anybody else who has a question, feel free to share. We still have like 4 minutes.
Yeah, we have Tim. Tim, you can go now.
Oh, you're on mute, Tim, if you're speaking.
Yeah, Tim, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I said you before, our Exchange Hybrid wizard or Exchange Hybrid service installing and running on the Exchange 2013 browsers. So we have a plan to, because Exchange 2013 server will be extended under support in next year, April. So we have to migrate all mailboxes to Exchange Online before the end of the day, end of the support, and we have to get rid of the hybrid. We have to upgrade the hybrid server to another server, right? And maybe because we also have Exchange 2019 in our environment, so we have some decision to use the Exchange 2019 with Windows 2019 BIOS. We need to install the hybrid configuration wizard or hybrid services, right, on one of the Exchange 2019 server role. So my question is, can HCW install on the Windows 2019 core server?
Oh, so actually SCW is just a configuration tool. It can be run from the Exchange server. It's not like a service that's installed or that has to be maintained over time. So you can run from any of your Exchange server or a domain joined machine. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to worry about reserving a server for SCW.
So when I run the HCW, there is a GUI, right? GUI.
Yeah.
So in the core service, it can show up the GUI in the core server. I never tried it before, that's why.
Yeah, it will. So just run the SCW again, and it will find the best server for you to configure hybrid. And in your case, it would be Exchange 2019 server. And you just connect with that server, give your credentials for Exchange Online, and yeah, it will just go ahead and add those configurations for you on your Exchange as well as Exchange Online. So that's it. So after that, you can just close that SCW. You don't need to maintain it.
Oh, okay, got it. So is there any documentation or procedure to migrate the hybrid server from 2013 to 2019?
There is no like real need to migrate anything. You just need to run the SCW again. That's it.
I just need to run the issues on the 2019, one of the 2019 browser.
Yes.
It should be fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
You run the SCW from any of the servers.
Oh,
just
yeah.
choose.
Just choose the server. The 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so how about the routing? Oh, yeah. We have to select the 2019 SMTP connector, right? When I run the HTTP. Okay. I got it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay. So
we're almost at time. We just have a minute. So I just want to call out that we have 2 other sessions following this session. The next session is basically a roundtable discussion with the product group. So if you have any specific feedback or issues, I think I would actually recommend that you join the session. We would be able to understand your scenarios better and then work on our roadmap on how we can improve Exchange server. So please do join the next session.
Yeah, and we'll look at your chat. So we have a continuous session, but we'll reply to your chat shortly after all our sessions have completed, if we have not replied to them already. Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks everyone.
We'll see you in the next session and the other session. But yeah, thanks everyone again.